Hemophilia is an inherited bleeding disorder that impairs the body's ability to make clots. If you're suffering from hemophilia, you may bleed for a longer time, which calls for a special attention. Hemophilia is a deficiency of clotting factors that result in prolonged bleeding. In such cases, it is important to take necessary precautions. On this World Hemophilia Day, we are speaking to eminent doctors and hematologists to create awareness about hemophilia disorders and their necessary precautionary measures. Hi, this is Sana Khan, and today in this initiative, we're going to speak to Dr. Rajesh Patil. Dr. Rajesh has done his MD in medicine and DM in clinical hematology. He is currently working as an hematologist at CTC PHO Hospital in Borivali and at Bethany Hospital in Thane, Mumbai. Please welcome Dr. Rajesh Patil. How are you, doctor?
Hi, good afternoon. Hi, this is Rajesh.
Okay, Dr. Rajesh, what causes hemophilia?
So hemophilia is a kind of bleeding disorder in a body. Whenever there is a bleeding, to stop that bleeding, various factors plays a role, in which there is a role of platelets and there is a role of coagulation factors which put together these platelets. So these coagulation factors, there are multiple types, approximately 13 different types of coagulation factors there. So deficiency of factor 8 or factor 9 is known as a hemophilia. Okay. So it is basically a deficiency of factor 8 or factor 9 number coagulation factors which help in forming a clot whenever there is a trauma or wherever there is a bleeding.
Okay. So is it due to some particular issue that what trauma are you talking about? What kind of trauma?
So as I told you, that hemophilia is a deficiency of coagulation factors.
Correct.
So this coagulation factor deficiency is a genetic one.
Okay.
It is actually, it is a genetic disorder and it is inherited in the family. It is known as, it is an X-linked genetic disorder. Okay. X-linked genetic disorders, they have particular importance since they generally seen only males, and because the females have 2 X chromosome, they do not manifest in females. So females serve as the carriers, while the males are the sufferers and those who are the symptomatic ones. So this hemophilia, as I told you, this is genetic disorder because of factor 8 or factor 9 deficiency. It is 3 types. Either it is a severe hemophilia, which depend on the percentage of the factor, which is less than 1% of factor 8 or factor 9, or it is a mild hemophilia. Mild hemophilia, it might come between 1 to 10%, or it is moderate hemophilia, and more than that will be the mild hemophilia. So the one who are severe hemophilics, those patients, they without any trauma, they can have bleeding, which is known as spontaneous bleeding tendencies. Means they can have spontaneous bleeding. They can have so hemophilia, as I told you, as it's a coagulation disorder, it causes bleeding mainly in the joints. Joints commonly affected are the knee joints or hip joints, elbow joints.
So what are the exact? So what are the exact signs and symptoms of it? Can you please mention them?
Sure. So as I told you, this is severe hemophilia. So severe hemophilia manifests generally around 6 months to 1 year of age when child starts walking. At that time, so if the patient has undergone circumcision, then they can note there's excessive amount of bleeding. It will not stop with our routine management, and which requires admission, requires transfusion of factors or transfusion of plasma. And the mother can notice there will be a bluish patches on the body. And once child starts walking, they will note that there will be swelling into the joints, mainly the knee joints. Knee joints are the commonly affected because they are weight-bearing joints, and there will be mild swelling, and child will be persistently irritable. So, like that, severe hemophilia, you will come to know around at 1 year or 2 years of life only with the various type of bleeding. So this is spontaneous bleeding or mild trauma-induced bleeding. Even like a minor cut or something will lead to significant bleeding. So this is about severe hemophilia, while moderate and mild hemophilia, they generally don't have a spontaneous bleeding, but after minor trauma or some surgery, Like suppose there is some injury because of some violence or something, or might be there is some surgery they undergone, then they have a disproportionate bleeding. Okay,
Okay.
it is much more than a normal patient. And then that time, if evaluation done, it will show that there's factor deficiency, for which treatment is generally given with help of factors, factor 8 or factor
Mhm.
9, or whenever factors are not available, plasma is infused.
Okay. So, Dr. Rajesh, how is a diagnosis done? If you can just explain that we understand.
So those families who already have a patients of hemophilia,
Mhm.
suppose a grandfather was having, or suppose a uncle, maternal uncle is having hemophilia, if such child comes with the history of bleeding like this, like bleeding into the joints or spontaneous patches or any muscle hematoma,
So
then
that
we
becomes
based on
that becomes genetic.
right. This is
Okay.
genetic. So, like I'm just at present telling those where is a family history available. If there is a
Okay.
family history available, then based on these symptoms, you can definitely say, yeah, this must be the same disease of hemophilia.
Mm-hmm.
And those families where there is no family history, it's possible that mutation can occur spontaneously in that child, and there might not be any family history in those childs. What we look for, the what kind of bleeding it is, if it is in the joints and in the muscles, which is like a major significant bleeding. What we generally do, a basic coagulation parameter, which is known as prothrombin time and APTT, PT-APTT. So APTT, this coagulation time is generally very much prolonged, APTT. And after this, we do generally a factor assay. Means we check the how much percentage of factor is present in the body,
Okay.
and which shows if there is severe hemophilia, it will show the less than 1% of factor in the body. So using the factor assay, and even we can do a genetic studies, and we can find out the defect in the genes X chromosome, and that way also we can do a definite diagnosis of hemophilia.
Mm-hmm. So, Dr. Patil, how severe can hemophilia be?
So as I said, that's severity depends on the what is the factor percentage in the body in that patient. So those who are severe hemophilics, they can have even a life-threatening bleeding. So
Okay.
by life-threatening meaning they can have a bleeding into the brain, very
Okay.
serious. Okay, and that can be spontaneous, or even
Okay.
after a minor trauma can trigger a spontaneous brain hemorrhage in such patient. They can have a severe life-threatening bleeding in abdomen, like in the abdomen, because it is a big space. There will be a lot of bleeding, and that can lead to a severe blood loss, and patient can go into shock. And like I said, if a road traffic accident or something happens, or some surgery, something is planned
Mm-hmm.
without a factor correction, then those patients can lead to the death on that either accident scene or on the operation table, because the bleeding goes unarrested unless you give a factor correction or
Okay.
a plasma to such. There is one another thing in hemophilia, some patients of hemophilia can develop a resistance to factor, which is in medical terminology called as hemophilia inhibitors.
Okay.
These inhibitors, though they have a similar bleeding tendency to normal hemophilic patient, but the treatment of such inhibitors with hemophilia is very difficult. So in such patient, even a tribal bleeding can lead to a significant hemorrhage, and patient can land up into the shock. So I always request all the hemophilic patients is to always look for that where is the immediate supply of factor available in their territory, be in contact of each other, and whenever there is any situation like this arises, not to waste time and immediately go to the center which has a capability and facility to treat the hemophilics and has the adequate factor storage.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rajesh, for your valuable time and insights at MediCircle. It was a pleasure having you on the show.